Kim Cattrall put out an article and it is juicy. Let's deep dive into this one. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today we're talking variety. You guys are amazing. So many of you sent me this article that Kim Cattrall put out in Variety, and she is not afraid to go there. She answers the questions that we wanted to know about in Just Like That and about her character Samantha in Sex and the City. Love her. Can't wait to jump into this, so let's dive right in. I wanted to point out that YouTube just added a thank you button to my videos, which I'm super excited about. Anything given through the thank you button comes straight to me and will be put toward the new microphone I'm saving for. So again, thank you all who have contributed. It truly means a lot to me. I appreciate every single one of you. So check that out. Let's get into this. Again, thank you to everybody who sent this. Thank you for taking the time to do that and make sure I saw it. I appreciate it. Yeah. So and Just Like That, Kim Cattrall found the power of saying no. Okay, I know how this works. I know what I'm here for, and that's the juicy part. So I'm going to encourage you to go read the article because it actually is interesting. It goes into her playing Samantha as well as her new roles and How I Met Your Father and also the Queer as Folk reboot that she's involved in. So definitely take a look, but more urgently, let's talk about the drama in the article. I know I'm biased. I get it. And you know what? I don't even care. I love Kim Cattrall, and I think she handled this interview beautifully, and I think you'll see what I'm talking about in just a second. But she does. She's so classy with her answers. She's not confrontational where she could have been, and I just love her. I admire her so much. Okay, so right off the bat, she's answering questions about her roles in other shows. She goes into getting to have an intimacy coach. I have not heard of this. And they explain what it does is someone from the wardrobe department basically holds a coat for you, and as soon as they say cut, they put something around you, and they'd say, okay, stop, let's protect the actress here, and they kind of look out for her, in these vulnerable positions and stuff. The reason she brings it up is she's explaining the difference of working on other shows versus Sex and the City. When she did Sex and the City, that was not a thing. They didn't have that. Instead, they had the KC cup. And I remember reading about this. And if you're like, what's a KC cup? It's called Kim Cattrall. And some guys would have to wear it to hide their bits and pieces and to protect everybody involved in an intimate scene. But because it was Samantha's character / Kim Cattrall's character that was involved in so many more of these types of scenes, I believe it was Pat Field, they said, coined the term Casey Cup. So then the interviewer goes on to ask about if she's willing to do sex scenes in future, shows or movies that she's involved in. And she says she doesn't want to be nude anymore. She's 65, in great shape, and just not interested in it. She says she feels like she's filled her quota, and she did it without an intimacy coach. She goes on to talk about how she still loves the role of Samantha Jones, and that Samantha will always be a part of her, that sort of thing, which leads them into more of a conversation about Sex and the City / and Just Like That. Were there ever discussions about you returning as Samantha on And Just Like That? Her answer: I was never asked to be part of the reboot. I made my feelings clear after the possible third movie, so I found out about it like everyone else did on social media. Oof, what a slap in the face to somebody that played such a pivotal part of, the series, the entire run of it. It's just, it's ridiculous to find out like that. Interviewer goes on to ask, how did you feel? I love this answer. She says, ooh, howls, and then trails off. The interviewer fills in the question for her and says, how's that going to work? And she said, you said it, not me. That's exactly the question we all had. Like, how's this reboot going to work, especially without Samantha? You read the script to the third movie in which Big was supposed to die, which Kim Cattrall answers, the series is basically the third movie. That's how creative it was. Bam! I love her so much. Right in the face. Good for her. Good for her, that answer. That's amazing. That's exactly our complaint is just everything about it was awful. It was not creative, and they just tried to brush off some BS storylines that they had created forever ago, and obviously it didn't work. If there had been a third movie, Samantha's storyline involved her getting unwanted pictures from Brady, to which Kim Cattrall says, "It's heartbreaking. It just grosses me out so bad, and I'm sure it infuriates her. Just, that's where they wanted her character to go. That's the storylines that they had written." And again, what the hell is with Michael Patrick Dickhead and his weirdest, fixation on Brady? He talks about it in the commentary. He got excited about it. He said he was the one that wrote the Brady being loud in his mom's house scenes. And I don't even want to think about it. What would you have liked Samantha to do? Well, her answer is fantastic. She says, why can't Samantha, who owns a PR company, maybe she had to sell it because of the financial woes in 2008. Let's see. Some people are still recovering. She had to sell it. Some guy who's wearing a hoodie, and that's the dilemma she has. And let's see. I mean, there's a scenario that was kind of off the top of one of my reps' heads, and I thought that was a great idea. There's a conflict instead of an underage boys, and then she trails off. Exactly. That would have been so much more of an interesting storyline. It would make sense to people who, of course, lived through the 2008 financial crash. And you guys, it's just unbelievable that's, it sounds like her people came up with great ideas, and of course they weren't willing to listen. I still vote for the Samantha in London doing PR storyline, or even Samantha hooks up with Emily in Paris, who, if you're not familiar, she works at a PR company in Paris. And I want to see her join that cast, as a high-powered PR person in her international brand. So the interviewer says you trailed off before finishing the sentence. So in the third movie, you didn't feel like Samantha was progressing? To which Kim replies, that is an understatement. They go on to ask her to describe it, and she says she would have preferred to us all to have some kind of event to warrant the third film, and that didn't happen. Good for her. I think that's so cool that she spoke out about it. She talks about how difficult it was. It was scary, and she had to stand up for herself and not be bullied by the press or fans or whomever. And I think that was just such a great decision. She goes on to say she hasn't deserted anybody, and that, can you imagine going back to do a job you did 25 years ago, and the job didn't get easier, it got more complicated, that sort of thing. How did you feel after the second movie? She replies, everything in me went, I'm done. I believe that's the same response a lot of us had. SJP has said if he decided to play Samantha again, she wouldn't be okay with that. Did that hurt your feelings? To which Samantha, listen to me, Kim Cattrall replied, I don't think I read it. She said there was too much that happened publicly between the two of you, to which Kim replied, well, it would never happen anyway, so nobody has to worry about that. Again, taking the high road, whereas SJP coming out with crap like that is definitely the low road. Have you watched? And just like that, to which Kim replies, I certainly heard about it. Ooh, good for her. I love this. And I've come to the conclusion that really the greatest compliment I could ever have as an actor is to be missed. One of the storylines is, of course, she goes into about how Carrie stopped paying for Samantha, and that's why Samantha got mad. And Kim answered, oh yes, I heard this. Well, that feels different than the Samantha I played, and that's exactly my beef with it as well. It doesn't make sense to the Samantha we all fell in love with. I take that as SJP and MPK, all those letters, pretentious, but trying to make Samantha's character less likable and it blowing up completely in their faces. The interviewer brings up that the show still refers to Samantha, and we get glimpses of it through the text exchange between her and Carrie. And Kim replies, well, it's still part of being missed. They go back and talk about the right time to have left Sex and the City, and she makes a point that she doesn't ever want to be on set and regret being there, making the wrong decision. Also, she talks about turning down the part originally. She just wasn't sure. It took her a couple of times of convincing to take the part of Samantha. Were you ever friends with your Sex and the City co-stars, or was it always contentious? To which she answers, I guess it's how you define friends. I think we were colleagues. My colleagues aren't my friends. It was professional. I love this so much. I feel like this is directly a jab at Michael Patrick King, but she says she loved when Darren Star was there, when it was a young show and young ideas and about discovering how Emily in Paris, because again, Darren Star is now on Emily in Paris, and how that's what that has become. That's why I really want the character Samantha on Emily in Paris. And she concludes the article talking about the power of saying no, a powerful no, and about coming back to Sex and the City / and just like that. You guys, thank you so much for sending this article. I love all the juice. I love our girl, Kim Cattrall. She's fantastic. Yeah, anything like this, send it on. Send me the links. I love reading stuff like this. I thought it was so well written, and I really like the way the I'm glad the interviewer went there with her, and I'm glad she wasn't afraid to answer, but she did it in such a nice way. I just feel like, again, that's the chip that seems to be missing in SJP and Michael Patrick King when they give these snotty remarks or responses about, I don't want her back anyway. Okay, I'm sure you don't. That's why you guys had to involve her in your storylines, just to try to get some hope of a good review. Didn't work out too well for you guys, did it? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're so inclined, hit that thanks button. Anything collected there will go toward the new microphone. I appreciate you guys watching. I can't wait to find more content like this. I will talk to you guys again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.